Hello. It's June 14th and Flag Day and the 250th anniversary of the Army. So happy birthday, happy anniversary. It's also the President's birthday. I'll be bipartisan wishing him a happy birthday to President Trump. Okay. Um, we have something interesting to talk about today, and I think it really hits on what's going on with the current market. So, well, all my video podcasts are good, but this one is super duper timely. So I'm Chris Gargiulo, and I have my blog, Real Estate with Mr. G .blog, where I post the minimum of 5 articles per week and minimum of 3 videos that will keep you up in touch and updated within the real estate industry. And also, we talk about mortgages too. Not so much current rates, but how to apply for them. This week we talked about FHA loans, how good they are. So I believe it's very helpful for both buyers and sellers. All right. And this is my weekly video podcast, Real Estate with Mr. G. And I also am a licensed referral specialist, still holding my associate's broker's license with Realty Connect LLC. And that's where I could put you together. Let's say you are going to sell a home here in the Hampton Roads area. You've been transferred to the Navy base in San Diego, and you need to buy a house there. I could help you with that. I could put you together with top producing agents in both areas. You will go to what I have right over here, buy a list anywhere in the United States, real estate with Mr. G.US. You put in some information, basic information, and then you will be contacted by the top producing agents in that area. And you pick the ones that you want to work with. It might be more than one person that contacts you, might be a couple. And you decide which one is best for you. I could still consult you, give you advice, but the actual showing of a property or listing of a property will be done by those agents. Okay? So my role is more of a marketing role right now for Realty Connect LLC and bringing together buyers with agents and sellers with agents, and sometimes it's both. You don't have to be doing both, And if you're watching this in, somewhere in Iowa or North Dakota, whatever, I could help you. All right. If you have to buy a property there, I can help you. All right. In fact, I'm going to show you a video I put together that I think nicely puts it together. So you see how I have video of, could be Montana with the cattle herds, could be the Great Plains where they're uh, harvesting the wheat, and then comes to like a city like New York. Uh, so I'm across the 50 states, and that could help you. So I hope that sort of kind of put that in a nutshell for you. All right. So let's look at our topic question today. And I think her name is Jane from, let's get her all.
Mr. G, I put my house on the market 3 months ago, and it still has not sold. With your vast and uncanny knowledge of the real estate industry, can you tell me what might have gone wrong? I watch your video podcasts every week with my husband and friends and find them highly informative and fun. Please keep it going strong. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jane from Memphis. And that's really a good question. That's a problem we're having right now. And when I said it was timely, because I've seen articles this week where there are more sellers in the market now than there are buyers. Okay. So it's slowly turning into a buyer's market. I don't know what that threshold is. I mean, maybe when prices come down more. But it's definitely not where you had multiple offers, multiple bids, and people foregoing the home inspection. It's not that situation right now that we had 3 or 4 years ago during the pandemic. And there's two big reasons for this. One is the higher mortgage rates, though they came down just a tinge this week, and the high prices of homes. All right. Plus, and this is where we get into politics, people are worried about the economy. People do not buy big ticketed items, expensive items, like a house, when they fear the economy. They fear their job safety, whether or not they're still going to have it. It's a volatile time. And the proof of that is what's happening in the real estate market. All right. So sellers are now considering things like lowering their price because they're not moving the properties. So it's a very timely subject. Let me get my PDF up on here. So you didn't sell. Well, here's what to do. And when it doesn't sell, you are feeling frustrated. It feels personal. You put money and emotional energy in a house. You told your friends and family what's happening. And now that your listing has expired without a buyer, you've left feeling stuck and maybe even a little embarrassed. And here, what most agents will tell you. Over 70% of homeowners who relist with a different agent sell their house. Unfortunately, unfortunate for the agent, because what happens. I'm going to explain how that happens. I've done that 2 times and it bit me. And when the house is on the market, when it's on the multiple listing service, as soon as it hits the multiple listing service, and let's say your house is a 3 to 4 bedroom, about 2,000 square feet, and let's say it has an in-ground pool. Now, all the potential buyers that are out there who put that search criteria, right, in their search, or they told their agents to do that for them. As soon as that house hits the market and it meets all those requirements, that person then receives that listing, right? They will receive it. and it's almost simultaneously as it hits the market, meets the search criteria of that client, that potential buyer, and now they received it. Now, when the house stays on the market for like 3 months, um, no one's really looking at it. It's, unless a brand new buyer came on the market, set up the search criteria, and now they'll receive that listing. But the ones who've been searching for a while are not going to see it again. So what we do, we take it off the market and then put it back on. Now, the 2 times I did that, and I wanted to give it a few days because you're supposed to give it a few days because you could get a fine if you drop the listing and then quickly put it back on the market. But because other agents are very assertive, I don't want to say aggressive, but they called right away as soon as it went off the multiple listing. It's either a spot expired or went off. Agents will call and they said, "Do you want to list again?" And even though I told my sellers I'm going to put it right back in the market, they just went with another agent, and it hurts. Okay, because you worked long, you did your open houses, you did your marketing, you paid for ads, and now they will go. And now once it's relisted with another agent, now it's sent out again, and maybe this time it will click. All right, that second exposure. It's like reviewing. Oh, okay, I saw that again, but let me think about it. Maybe it's not so bad. So that's a situation. The 2 times I did it, it didn't sell because it was priced too high, and I didn't want to. I should just went with my instinct, and if they didn't agree with me, I just drop the listing, not even take it, because I would know the market better than sellers that are coming in. And the ones who went with another agent ended up selling the house at the price that I thought it should be. But I followed their wishes. I listed it, and it just didn't sell. So going back to the PDF file, relist with the same agent, that stat drops to only 50% according to the latest data from RedX. That's like leaving the fate of your sale to a coin toss, and that's not enough. So here's the graph. You're more likely to sell your house if you relist with a different agent. The percentage of homeowners with expired listings who sold their house after relisting it. And the green one here represents those who listed with a different agent, and the blue one is 51.7. They stood with the same agent. So RedX data also shows that only 1 in 3 homeowners with expired listings actually make that change. That means most sellers either give up or repeat the same mistake. So they get the same disappointed outcome. You deserve better. Same house, different strategy, completely different results. Let's break down what might have gone wrong and how fresh perspective can help you have with a winning strategy. So it was priced too high. That's the number one situation. A lot of times sellers go with emotional value to it. One house, her husband, did all the renovations of the house, and they had it for years, had a sentimental, emotional value, and she wanted at this price. Now, the only thing was, it was just a 2-bedroom. 2 bedrooms are hard to sell. But she wanted that 3-bedroom cost, but it just didn't work. Today, home buyers are feeling the squeeze of higher mortgage rates, so even a slightly overpriced home will get overlooked. And once your listing agent starts to go stale, it's hard to regain momentum. So missing the mark on pricing it is a costly mistake. And too many homeowners are doing that right now. They still think, hey, it went crazy 3 years ago, but it's not like that now. What we need to do now, we need to analyze the latest sales in your area to make sure you're hitting the right number. This includes taking a hard look at real estate buyer behavior and any feedback you got from open houses or showings your first time around. Pricing at or even just below current market value is a winning play because it drives more buyers to your listings, and that amps up the competition for your home. Now, even the other thing I have to throw in there, even if it sells a little bit less, like they said, below market price, if you bought your house more than, let's say, 5 years ago, you're still making a killing because home prices jumped up tremendously, like 20, 21%. So even if you go a little bit lower, most likely, depending if you didn't refinance your mortgage, you're still going to make a nice profit. It didn't show well. You only get one shot at a first impression. If the listing photos didn't pop, the house wasn't staged well, or it wasn't updated, most buyers will skip over it without ever scheduling a showing. And even if the buyers did show up, small things like scuffed walls, outdated light fixtures, or wobbly doorknob can turn them away. So what do we need to know now? Let's walk through your house with fresh eyes to see if there are any areas that have been the sticking points inside and out. Sometimes taking down old drapery, but this is so common. If you had an agent and he or she saw that you had old drapes up, they're not up to date on how to show a house. Some, like staging or even a fresh coat of paint, can completely change how a buyer feels about the home. And 3, didn't get the right exposure. Your home didn't sell, chances it wasn't getting the visibility it deserved. Generic flyers and a few online photos aren't enough anymore. Today's top agents are using highly targeted digital marketing, social media strategies, custom video content, and more to get your listing in front of the right buyers at the right time. It's very different. Now real estate agents really have to know how to film a property, and then it helps if you're good with video editing software where you could put in some extras, perk it up. There's little emojis you put in. You can make it fun. If it's just boring, it's just like a walking through video. It could get, and then if it's long, it could become very boring very quickly. So you need to jazz it up. Have music in the background. If the video is too long, you're going to lose them. It's better you make it shorter, and then they say, "Hey, I want to really take time to go to the house and look at it." So what do we need to know now? We have to do more than just put your house online and hope it sells. Together, we can come up with a real plan to maximize its exposure. With the right pricing, staging, and marketing, your house will sell quickly. And again, homes listed with a different agent sells twice as fast. Average days to sell an expired listing when using a different agent versus the same agent. With a different agent, they sold the house in 20 days. With the same agent, it was 46 days. Okay. And number 4, you weren't willing to negotiate. In this market, sellers who aren't open to negotiating on things like closing costs, inspection repairs, or other concessions are often left behind. And if your last agent didn't set that expectation with you, that's a real shame. That's a real shame in keeping up the old drapes. What do we need to know now? Be willing to meet buyers where they are. The goal is to get the deal done, and sometimes that means getting creative to help buyers cross the finish line. Home values have increased by over 55% over the last 5 years. I said 21%. This is 55. I really began with the beginning of the pandemic, but they were moving up before that. So 55%. So you likely have enough wiggle room to offer some perks without sacrificing your bottom line. So if your house is in a sell, you might need a better plan and a better partner. Over 70% of homeowners who switch agents sell their houses after relisting it. And that's not a coincidence, that's a strategy. You know, I feel bad for my real estate agents who are watching, because that's one thing an agent doesn't want to happen, that you lose a listing. Again, as I said before, you put a lot of money and time into it, and now they'll go with another agent, and then in 23 days they'll sell it. That's what's the tough thing about the real estate industry, right? There's a lot of sacrifice. And you did most of the groundwork. The new agent comes in, and they get it sold faster. As we often say, it is what it is. And that's just the way the real estate industry is. All right. So let's put this graph up here. 4 reasons to summarize: a house doesn't sell. It was priced too high. It didn't show well. It didn't get the right exposure. And you weren't willing to negotiate. And that last one is really the signal that it's leaning now more to a buyer's market, because now sellers have to agree to make some repairs to the house per the home inspection. They may offer closing costs. They might offer more seller concessions. So it's definitely a changing market. All right. And here's a nice, this actually next video is dealing with sellers. And they might just have enough home equity in their house. And this is probably being marketed to a person like myself who you're older, and your kids have left the house, and it's only you and your wife, and you only need such a big house, so you downsize. All right, so we don't need that big 4-bedroom house that's 3,000 square feet. We could get something simpler. But with that 55% increase in home values, I may be able to use the equity that I built up and that I received at closing to buy my next house with cash. That's pretty good. All right, so that's something to think about. Hopefully, if you are at that point of life, when you want to downsize, and you've built up enough equity that once you sell it, you may be able to buy it with cash. Okay? Now, this just came out about 2 weeks ago. We have the Selling Your House. Since we're talking about selling, the Summer 2025 edition. These come out quarterly. That tells you about the current market and what to do. You can see here just a checklist for selling your house. You read it, but then you still contact me to help you find an agent to sell. And we also have the buyer's side of that. Things to consider when buying a home. And where do you go? You go, okay, right here. realestateWithMrG.blog/resource-materials. Okay? And you could download them for free. We also updated the first-time home buyers, this 2025 edition. That's for the whole year. Okay? But that's been updated as well. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you may want to download that as well. Okay. I'm hearing from our producer Isabella that you have some old footage of me doing a Sunbeam commercial.
Great news, Mr. G. We found an outtake from an old Sunbeam commercial you did back in the 1960s. It did not go well. Here it is. Did you ever do a final take?
Well, you just try the tendon test, Jane. You'll be convinced. Oh, say, I've got to go. Mary just got home. Bye. Hi, dear.
Mommy, what's the tenderness test?
The tenderness test proves how tender batter whipped Sunbeam bread really is. I'll take this piece of ordinary bread. Now watch how it tears. See? It's ragged and uneven because it's mixed a ton at a time. Often isn't mixed thoroughly, and it can be tough.
I actually prefer whole wheat, Mom, but what's going on? This bread is kind of hard and crunchy. Is this right? I forgot I did that commercial back in 1965, but okay. Thanks for bringing that up. And that's our show for the week, okay? So be well. I'm going on vacation for about, well, it's vacation, visiting family, going to a high school graduation, going to see our newest granddaughter, who's going to be turning 1. I'm going to do my best to do another podcast within the next 3 to 4 weeks. It might be a different type of format, but if not, I'll see you in the middle of June. All right? So enjoy the summer. It's beginning now. Swimming and beach and picnics and barbecues. And most of all, be kind to each other. And always remember, the greatest power we have is to love, and the greatest gift each other. And I'll see you next time.